Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today we are going to talk about everything that I read in July, which wasn't that much. We're also going to talk about everything that I want to read for the rest of the summer, which by summer I'm only counting August. I am itching for fall so badly right now that I honestly think that probably towards the end of August, I will already be reading like fall books, which I am going to upload fall content prior to September, so you will be seeing that, but I will try and stay in the summer vibes with my reading this month. I am so much more excited to talk about my TBR than I am everything that I read this month, but we got to go through it first. Okay, so this month, I am at 36 books read out of 60. I only read 3 full books this month, and here's the tea. We went through a reading slump in June, we all know this, and now, you know, July was a little bit slower, but we're back in the game, and we're back on the grind, okay? So I started off by finishing Manacled. Okay, listen, I loved it. I loved it a lot. I rated it a 4-star because the 36 chapters of flashbacks was just too much for me. It's like I am so bored throughout that whole thing that I honestly thought about DNFing, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, I'm so committed to this, I cannot do that. But I really did think about it. But then once I got out of the flashbacks, it was so freaking good, and I will probably think about it forever. So the flashbacks had to bring it down for me. I could not do it. Then I also read Tom Lake, which I've been listening to this on audiobook for a while now. It's pretty because Meryl Streep does narrate it, and I did enjoy that aspect of it, but it is a very slow story. Beautiful because it teaches you to kind of appreciate like the little things in life, and also just to learn that like everyone that we love is forever a part of who we are. And I did really love that message, and towards the end there was a lot of quotes that have really stuck with me, and I think will stick with me for a long time. That being said, I wasn't that invested till pretty much the end, so this did take me a really long time. But also, that being said, I did rate it a 4 because towards the end I actually loved it so much. I was listening to it at work while I was working, and I almost cried at work. So I was not expecting for this to take me there, but it did. And I just pushed through because I honestly did think about DNFing that one as well, but I didn't. July was just not a great reading month. You know, we were getting back into things, and yeah. The best for last finished book was 7 Days in June. I read 7 Days in June, and I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. Look at all of the beautiful tabs. This story, the way it's written, is just so addicting, and you really get to know a lot of the characters. All of them are so fully fleshed out. The love story aspect of it was slightly predictable, but like all of the events surrounding everything, like I never would have thought, oh, this is gonna happen. You know, it's a very unconventional love story. It's a story of 2 people who knew each other in high school, and they're coming back together later on, and they're such different people, but they're still fundamentally the same. It was just really beautiful to see them reunite and appreciate each other's growth, and also appreciate like who they still are at the core. I just could not get enough of this, and I've told you guys that like when I love something, I continuously put it down because I want to savor it, and I did that with this book, but I also kept picking it up because I just loved it. I could not get enough of it, and I'm so happy that I finally read this. I really wasn't expecting for me to love it this much, but so good. Okay, and I wasn't going to count this one for this month, but I am going to finish it tonight, and today is July 31st. So tonight I'm going to finish The Spanish Love Deception. I'm reading it on my Kindle, and unless something radically changes, I'm 65% through the book, and I have wanted to DNF through every single chapter I've read. Up until now, like I'm kind of interested in what happens now. Like they're finally at the point where they're like figuring out each other, and I just frankly, like, I'm sorry if you like this book a lot, because I know a lot of people like this book, but she's just so dumb. Like, she's honestly just so dumb because Aaron Blackford clearly likes her, and makes it very clear. And like, I understand that there are some girls that genuinely just cannot conceptualize being liked, or like don't want to take things the wrong way, don't want to take like messages in the wrong way. But it's so obvious. Like, it's not even like one of those situations where you're like, oh, but he could just be a nice person. Like, no, this man likes her. And she's just dumb through the whole thing. She just acts dumb. And it makes me so mad. Even when he like finally actually advances her, it makes it very, very, very clear he's interested, and he's not just like in this deception way that they have going on. She still like cannot grasp that he likes him, and not in a like, oh, he's so good, why would he ever like me? She just genuinely is like, oh no, but he's probably just faking it. And I just, you know, I've been bamboozled a few times by men, not men, boys. And I have never had such clear signs from someone that they liked me and still been bamboozled. So I don't know if I'm missing something from this story, but at this point at 67% in, page 300 out of like 420, this is going to be a 2-star for me. And I will retract my statement later on if I think any differently. I'm somewhat eating my words. I ended up giving the book 4 stars, and it was like a 2-star for me till about 70%. But if you've read the book, you see where they like get together, and I don't know, it just made me care. And all of a sudden, like, I don't know, maybe I needed convincing that Aaron actually liked her just as much as she did, because after, I didn't even know what did it for me, but all of a sudden I was like, wow, they really love each other. And I really don't know what did it for me, but I ended up giving it a 4 stars because it ended very sweet. There was just quotes that actually reflected like real love, in my opinion. So I don't know, I ended up giving it a 4 star, but I'm kind of eating my words. I still pretty much agree with my previous sentiment that she's kind of dumb. But then also, like, what does that say about me? Because, like, I also needed to be convinced. So, I don't know. I just know it's going to be 2-star. Okay, so let's get into the TBR because I feel like that's going to be the fun part of the video. Right now, I am also reading Happy Place by Emily Henry. Now, I think that I have a goal to read like all of an author's work, basically, because I've never really been a person to do that, and I really would like to do that. And so for my contemporary romance like case study at this point, the first author that I chose is Emily Henry, because everyone really likes her books, but everyone kind of has like a different favorite of hers, which is really interesting because typically you have people liking one book. Like, there's pretty much like a cult following for like one book, and then everyone's like, yeah, the rest are good, but like this one, yes. And I have heard so many different opinions about which book is their favorite from Emily Henry's. So I really would like to study her work, and I know a lot of her work involves books and like writing and stuff like that, so I do want to read all of her stuff. So currently I'm reading Happy Place, and I am 72 pages in, and I like it. Now, to be fair, I had an extensive conversation with my friends that are reading a lot of her stuff, and they were like, I don't think this is gonna be your favorite, and I don't think you should start with this one because they were like, the love interest is just boring. And so far I really like the friendship elements of the story, and I also am just like not really rooting for them, because basically it's like, let me see if this is a spoiler. Basically it's about Harriet and Wynne, and they were engaged and doing long distance, and then they broke up, and their friends didn't know, and then they end up on this trip together. And so they are also fake dating until like a certain point. I don't know when that point is going to be, but they're fake dating on this trip so they don't tell everyone and like ruin the trip, and I don't know how that goes down. But honestly, at this point I'm like rooting for them to not get back together, because he kind of annoys me, and there's really nothing about their relationship that I'm like, oh yeah, this is salvageable. And she has such gross feelings towards him that I'm like, how are you going to come back to being cool with him? And he broke your heart. So like, I don't know. It's one thing to break up. It's another thing to break an engagement. So I'm interested to see how it goes down. But right now I will say I am a little bit bored. Overall though, I'm enjoying her writing. I'm enjoying like the friendship aspects, and there are like some lines that I really liked. So I'm excited to finish this and move on to her other stuff. I don't know when I'll move on to her other stuff, but I will get to all of those at some point. Then, because I loved Tia Williams so much, I know a lot of people that like Tia Williams also like Kennedy Ryan, and I actually have This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. So I plan on reading Before I Let Go, and then also This Could Be Us. And I'm really excited to pick these up because, like I said, people who like Tia Williams typically like her, and I'm just like in the mood for different love stories. And I know that there's like divorce and stuff like that involved in these stories, and I really haven't read anything that involves that, and it's just like, it seems different than, you know, A Happy Place or A Spanish Love Deception. And so I'm really excited to pick these up. Okay, the next book is kind of random, but I've had it and I finally want to get to it. This is The Day Book, A Journey of an Artist. It's a nonfiction book kind of just about an artist named Anne Truitt, and it's a journal over a 7-year period. It says basically she is coming to terms with the artist and herself, and I thought that it just sounded interesting. I really like hearing like artists' journeys, and I do like to write. I am a writer, so, and right now I'm in a writing slump, so I think that maybe reading a story about a artist will help inspire me to create art. So it looks interesting, and I just feel like it could possibly give like, you know, smoggy summery vibes, you know? Okay, and then the only other nonfiction book that I have, I think I got this from the shelves at my last job randomly, and we all know I like a little book talking about God sometimes. So this is The Pathway to Success, Letting God Lead You to a Life of Meaning and Purpose. You know, I'm 24, so purpose and meaning of life is kind of on trend for this age. I'm definitely at a pivotal point where I'm trying to kind of figure out like my next steps, what I'm gonna do, and you know, I'm ready for like a more unconventional book about figuring like your life out, and I feel like I haven't really read a lot that are God-centered, so I would like to do that. Okay, and then we have a novel that I'm not entirely sure what this is even about, but it's called Pure Color by Shayla Hetty. The summary on the back is just magical, so I'm going to read you a small section of it. It says, Pure Color tells the story of a life from beginning to end. It is a galaxy of a novel, explosive, celestially bright, huge, and streaked with beauty. It is a contemporary Bible, an atlas of feeling, and a shape-shifting epic. Shayla Hetty is a philosopher of modern experience, and she has reimagined what a book can hold. And that's just intriguing to me. But it seems to be a coming-of-age story of a woman named Mira. She leaves for school and she meets a friend, and I don't know what's going to be in here. It seems like there might be some magical realism. But it's also just kind of like a very interesting format. Like we have like, just like, you know, this is just not a normal format. So I'm interested to read this, and it kind of just gives summer to me. So yes. Then we have a little book of poetry, because I have not read poetry in forever, and poetry is what got me into writing. So, you know, on the topic of a writing slump, this is The Finalists by Ray Armentrout, and I got this at the SDSU bookstore, and I'm pretty sure it's done by an alumni from SDSU. I have no idea really what this poetry book explores, but I don't really ever pick poetry books based on what they explore. I typically just pick them for the cover. So that is what I did here, and yes. Okay, then we have Byeeee, which I think that's how you pronounce it because that's what it says on the inside of the book. No one has helped me out with it yet, so I'm just gonna go with it. By Jessica George. I talked about how this is a book that I really want to read this year, and the cover just gives summer, and summer just kind of gives like coming of age, kind of. So I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but this just gives summer to me, and so I want to try it this summer. Then we have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed, and I've seen this book everywhere, but I honestly still don't fully understand what it's about, but I also think that could be fun. Basically, the part of it that kind of made me understand it was, with empathy and piercing social commentary, Such a Fun Age explores the stickiness of transactional relationships, what it means to make someone family, and the complicated reality of being a grown-up. It is a searing debut for our times. The other line that really stuck out to me was, at 25, she is about to lose her health insurance and has no idea what to do with her life. Vibe. That's just a vibe. And I'm 24, so we got one more year of insurance from my parents. So this just, you know, it's giving quarter life crisis, and I am there. So anyways, that is going to conclude this video. I know it's a little casual, but I wanted to get this up, and honestly, because I haven't been reading that much, I didn't have a ton to talk about except for the books that I'm really excited to read. So yes, I will see you in my next video, which will probably be a fall TBR honestly, or a reading vlog. We will see which one goes up first, but I will be filming a reading vlog soon. Yes, the fall TBR, because I'm there. I'm ready. I already have my whole TBR for the fall on a shelf. So yes, we're gonna try and race through all of these books here to get to those books. Anyways, I hope you had a wonderful July and you have the best start to your August, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.